Hello, greetings. This is John Butler from Hypnotherapy Training International on the last day of 2023, and hopefully you're all looking forward to 2024 and advancing your plans or creating plans if you haven't got them already, and learning how to overcome the inevitable challenges, obstacles to those plans. And the start of the year is a very good time to really reflect as well, to look at where you can change things from the past without while take responsibility without beating yourself up, because that only makes your problems worse. So as we look at 2024 and you start to set those plans into action, taking action mentally, physically, and there are many steps to that about setting a date, pledging, committing to those goals, to taking action, and then reviewing how you're doing, learning about resilience, we're learning how to keep positive, motivated, in the face of things that you have to deal with. And so that's about adapting intelligently to the challenges and becoming more and more effective and successful. And we do that all the time with people when we're helping them achieve goals. For example, high-level performers in performing arts, with music, with acting, and all of those areas of human expression that are in the artistic world. And then in business and in many fields, in sports, and in academic learning and so on. So people can use their minds in all kinds of wonderful ways when they understand hypnotherapy. Now, we've set our dates for training courses next year, and those courses are not just for people who want to train to become therapists. They're for anybody who's fascinated by the potential of the human mind, about our true inner nature, our deepest core abilities. And you can learn to use those for yourself, and then maybe later on, you're going to consider using those to help other people. Our four main training courses each comprises 30 hours of live online programming, learning by doing, as well as core lectures and so on. Now, at that part of the training, you're going to be supervised. There's follow-up, personalized learning and teaching after the course for each person, because we're interested in how you get on and that you're going to learn very well from so-called failures, which are just learning. We also have over 30 hours of very specialized, high-quality materials for you to study. That's archived online. Now, we also have in-person training, of course, and in a little over a year, we've been doing training in Sagres in Portugal. We've done in-person training in London, UK. We've done it in Jordan, in the Middle East. We've done it also in Hungary. And we will be doing in-person training later in the year in the UK. We have yet to set the dates for that. Now, the important thing is when you're training, you make sure you're getting training with people who've actually done the work. You can't just learn about hypnotherapy as tools and techniques and knowledge to use without knowing by first-hand accounts how it's really working. There is important research on hypnotherapy over 100 years in the medical world, in psychology, but that knowledge becomes purely intellectual if that's all that you do, if that's all that you study. So you have to have that supervised training from somebody who's helping you understand the deep principles behind the techniques and methods. So your learning is really intensely personalized, and you're coping with the difficulties that you're bound to uncover. You're bound to meet with people as you uncover the deeper roots of some of the issues you deal with. There are so many problems that hypnotherapy can affect and help. Remarkable things happen. I've just had it happen the last month, where somebody's intense pain of 6 weeks of being not able to be controlled properly by medical means, which was impacting their lives dramatically, being laid up in a hospital for 6 weeks. And after 15 minutes hypnotherapy later that night, they're moving around and able to take care of themselves. And so we see dramatic things happen, not every day to that extent, but nevertheless, we see these things are possible through the human mind. On an everyday basis, you're going to be working with all kinds of problems with people as a therapist, helping them to change their problems turning those into learning steps. So every obstacle is really a stepping stone. Hypnotherapy works at an energy level, as the universe itself is made of energy. Now, we're working at the verbal intellectual levels, of course, but with hypnotherapy, we're working with the deep emotional, the deep beliefs, the deep perceptions we have about the world. And this is wonderful work to help people challenge and change those problems that are holding them back in life. After over nearly 40 years of teaching academic psychology, mainly in medical psychology, and teaching psychotherapy and hypnotherapy for nearly 40 years as well, I've learned that you can help people in ways that are very, very, very powerful. Now, it depends on their commitment, willing to take action on their own behalf, break out of victim mode, and break out of those suggestions we've been given. As life itself, to a great extent, is the result of the suggestions we're carrying. Those become our beliefs. Over time, suggestions often from other people. And now we must make a real commitment to change that programming. And then from that programming, the new actions and new outcomes inevitably must come. So it's often been said in religion and in many systems, philosophy, that our beliefs shape our actions, shape our outcomes in life, regardless of external circumstances. In other words, they exist, but you have to use your mind to deal with them. So in a sense, then your outcomes are always your own. Now, you can't control that exactly, but how you adapt and learn from those, there are very great difficulties that may exist in life. It's still your own development as a person. Even that's an outcome, even if you can't always change what's out there in your life, maybe financially in other ways. And with the full power of the mind behind you, there are many things you can do to change your financial and practical outcomes as well. If you learn hypnotherapy properly, and that's the if, you really need proper intense training. There are many levels of knowledge and skills that you have to acquire. It can't be learned as a bag of tricks or some magic method that somebody just invented. You have to learn it deeply. Now, as we change ourselves and looking into 2024, we want to make sure we're planning our goals properly, how to implement them, as I said earlier, when you're starting, what you're going to do, the various sub-steps that are involved in that, and learning that the setbacks are just part of the learning. But you have to have the right mindset for success. You've got to challenge and change some very deep negative beliefs in many of us that make us settle for mediocrity, which is really only a form of failure in life. And we may have to go deep into regression and analytical work sometimes to isolate those negative suggestions and programming. Very often we've inherited from other people as we've gone through life, often at an early age. Now, we must take responsibility and not blame our past, and we have to live in the present. However, you can't do that if much of your mind subconsciously is rooted in the past. Intellectual methods of therapy won't change that enough. So when you want to achieve goals, they must be specific, they must be targeted by the right kind of programming. The obstacles must be understood and challenged, those internal obstacles, and then learning to adapt to the external obstacles. And instead of labeling yourself as a failure, you would see that your learnings come often from failures. The greatest learnings often come from the so-called greatest failures. And it's just a question of knowing that that doesn't reflect you. It's just learning and growth that you need. Now, if we're sabotaging, we need to be able to be helped with that. And a lot of hypnotherapy learning will enable you to change yourself through self-hypnosis, through helping you with your meditation, your personal development, whether you're a spiritually oriented person or not. Hypnotherapy is the power that opens the door to your deeper mind, your inner self, your inner potential. It's often called under different names in different philosophies. So the word itself can kind of limit it and mislead us. But there are many aspects to hypnotherapy anyway that we're going to teach you on the courses, which include waking hypnosis, trance hypnosis, the power of suggestion, the power of belief, and so on. That's going to make a huge difference to you and your outcomes in life. As I say, after 30 years of teaching, more than 30 years, and helping people implement goals, maintain their progress, overcome the obstacles, and particularly overcome the fears and doubts, most of which are illusions that we have within us that we're projecting outwards, triggered often by the external world, but really coming from within us. Now, if you train deeply, learn it properly. And our job in HTI is to teach you how to use the power of your mind for your own benefits in your life, to transform yourself and to help other people if you intend to become a therapist. So we look forward to seeing you one of our online courses, or you can come in person. We also do a hybrid, a combined version of online and in person, and you can also do that. Whatever suits you, your schedule, your resources. We're very happy to help you and give you information about training at hypnotherapytraininginternational.com. So please visit us, get in touch, and all the best with achieving your outcomes in 2024. Thank you very much for listening and watching.